Good morning and welcome to Trading with Larry. It's Larry Benedict, joined by Eric Shamilov. Good morning, Eric. Interesting day
Good morning,
yesterday.
Uncle Larry.
What was that?
I said, good morning, Uncle Larry.
Yeah, good morning. Market was down, now back to green. You know, Obviously, it's the same literal buyer of everything. It's a literal buyer of SPOOs, gold. It's like, when are they going to shut? When are they going to shut these guys down? That's what I want to know. When are they going to just wreck these guys? You know?
Maybe tomorrow with the Supreme. Tomorrow's going to be a big day in not only the big jobs report, but the Supreme Court decision. I was actually wondering what you thought about that.
Well, we talked a little about it. I don't know. I think a ruling against or an opinion against is probably not positive. Um, it's actually positive, probably for the market if they get rid of tariffs. So, in the longer term, it's probably a positive for the market if they get rid of tariffs. But I would say overall, it's I don't know if I'd say a negative. So I would say if the ruling comes in, the market reaction will be negative if it's a ruling against, and positive if it's a ruling for. But if you really think about it, it probably should go the other way. you know, Tariffs are not good. Okay. I don't even know what's going on with tariffs. I haven't heard much about them. None of us have. It's sort of disappeared from the public eye, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know what's scary? I've been agreeing with you a little bit too much this year, but
I know. I
I'm
don't like
feeling.
it. That
Yeah,
means
I've been feeling.
that means you're
Yeah, I
going to
think
lose money.
no, no. Actually, what's going to probably happen is, volatility will pop, and I don't think anybody's going to be expecting it. But I agree with you. I think if they rule against the tariffs, it would be a pretty bad thing. Just because companies now have had almost a year of having to adjust their supply chains and how they do business. A great example is UPS, which was, down a lot because of everything to do with tariffs. I think it's like the poster child, and it's been performing very well off its lows. And they're adjusting. They're adjusting to everything, and if that throws a wrench into it, I think it wouldn't be a good thing.
I would agree. I would agree with that. But it's we're gonna just like it's kind of like having the answer to the test, but not really having the answer. I think the opinion should be against tariffs. Just thinking about it. But again, I'm not a justice, so I don't know. And a lot of these justices he has in his pocket, so they may rule the other way, or some of them may have opinions the other way, and it may be split. I mean, I don't know how all that stuff works. I think we have a jobs number as well, um, and the jobs number probably will be a weaker number, but not that weak because it's, basically rigged by the government. So I'm not expecting, a really bad number, positive jobs growth for the millionth month and whatever. And I think it's interesting that Tommy Lee, supposedly one of the guys that watches our podcast, said Tommy Lee thinks the market's not going up. I think it might have been his brother that came on or something, but I don't. If that's the case, I don't even get it. I don't know what changed the guy's mind. And then there was some stuff from Kramer negative on the market, so. Uh, the two guys that are the biggest. One guy never flips. Kramer flips like the wind. So you can't really watch Kramer. He's
He's a
literally,
He's a
he's the
traitor.
worst. He'll say this, and then the market will rally, and he'll just go, "Oh yeah, I told you the market was going to rally." I mean, he's, you know, it's funny. We're in the newsletter business. And the one thing that I would say about the newsletter business, okay, like the opportunistic trader is considered a newsletter. What I would say about the newsletter business is 99% of what they call gurus or people in it are frauds, complete frauds. You know, they come up with stories. They came off a farm, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, they were baling hay and they came across trading and then they made a fortune, lost a fortune, whatever. But what's funny, the one thing about the business, okay, is my track record is documented by a public accounting firm just like it was when I had a hedge fund. Okay. So all my trades are timestamped, documented, and audited by KPMG. So it's really real. Sometimes I want to run from it. Sometimes I'm happy about it, but it's really real. And that's the one thing, you know, with the business that I always say, Eric, as a trader, and I always said this from the beginning, even when I was trading on the Chicago Board Options Exchange, the one thing that matters, and I say it to you all the time, is P&L speaks. Nothing else speaks. You could say how great you are, you could say everything, but P&L is the only thing that speaks. You don't have to tell anybody, but it speaks. Okay. The bottom line is it speaks. And when you're out to the marketplace, whether it be in a hedge fund, at a prop firm, or in the newsletter business, your track record is out there for everybody to see. So I think in the newsletter business, or if you want to follow someone, which, you know, it's interesting. I do believe that it is smart. I'm not saying making every single trade that someone tells you to do, okay? But it is good to have, you know, it's kind of like a golf coach or a tennis coach or whatever. It's somebody that can show you the ropes at a level that's higher than where you're at. And, you know, I equate it, it's funny because I say this like in an NFL booth, who is in the booth? Who's doing the color? It's an ex player that played at the highest level, right? You want
Yeah,
Troy
you got to
Aikman.
put in a jock and a nerd. You need a jock and a nerd.
What was that?
You need a jock and a nerd side by side.
Well, I
That's your
don't know about a
NFL.
jock and a nerd, but you need a good sportscaster and a jock, or not a jock, somebody that has the knowledge. Troy Aikman threw touchdowns in the Super Bowl. You want to hear from that guy because he played at a high level. So for me, like, you know, I don't want to reveal my age because it's not that young. But I played in many Super Bowls. And now I want to try to, you know, instill that knowledge on to everyone else. And, you know, I could play in the game, which I do on a daily basis, but I certainly can't play at the level that I was playing at, you know, when we were, you know, running, you know, $1 billion and, you know, I was trading at Spear Leads. Okay. But I can instill all of the knowledge that, listen, it's not worked amazing over the last, I would say, couple of years in the sense that, you know, it's just been a bull market run by retail, run by algorithms, front running order flow. We've discussed all of these things, but still, it always reverts back when things get hard, okay, to what it was. And I think it's important for people to see that. You know, again, I'm very negative on the metal complex, okay? I discussed it a little bit on another podcast yesterday that I did. And I was saying the reason why metals have gone ballistic to the upside, a lot of it is almost the same reason as Bitcoin. So, what has happened in metals, okay, and you have to agree with this, There's a guy, Joe Smith, okay? He's got a phone in his hand and he's trading gold, okay? Out of his PA, out of his personal account, okay? He's not buying, he doesn't have a futures account. He's able to buy gold through multiple ETFs, leveraged ETFs, etc. So now a guy that had no way to buy this thing sees it on TV. People are talking about it. He's okay, let me give it a chance. And that's why these markets are not big enough to handle $7 billion in turnover in silver yesterday in SLV. 92 million shares. The other day, 135 million shares, 150 million shares. The average daily volume was 18 million. Okay. So what do you think? What do you think that is? That's Joe retail. It's traders, it's guys like me and you, but it's retail just buying and buying and relentlessly buying, always thinking this thing can't go anywhere but up. And they got, I'm going to use the expression, bitch slapped in Bitcoin. And now all the people long Bitcoin, you know what they say? I'm just not going to look at it. It'll come back. Well, what if it doesn't come back? And like, it's funny. I look at silver and it's trading around 75, which is insane. I mean, at some point, silver's definitely going below 70, and it's probably going below 60 and maybe into the 50s. And then it may stay there. And people are not going to get their money back. They're just not. I mean, again, you're my resident, bull on this stuff. But, you know, like even this morning, like I was looking at gold, I was looking actually to add to gold if it broke 4,400 on the futures, which it got down to 4,415. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to be able to add today. And then it goes up $25 and now everybody's safe again and no one is panicking. This morning, the market was panicky. So that's what we have here. We have massive speculation by retail. And what's funny is, think about this. I mean, individual equities themselves, if you could find one or two that go parabolic or whatever, you can make a lot of money, right? But here's the question that I have for you, okay? And it's a really, really, true question. Like, the reason why they're in these things is because they're moving power. Silver was up 13% for the year in 3 days. That's more than the S&P will do the whole year. I'm very convinced of that. Okay. And last year it did 16 and people were ecstatic. This thing did 13.5 in 3 trading days. That's not insane. I'm just trying to understand what is insane.
I don't think it's insane for commodities that are undergoing a supply issue. And I agree with you. You have specs in the market right now, but you always have specs in any market that's exploding. But they're never really part of that explosion
Dude, listen. I
from
am
a
I am
horizontal.
not agreeing with you in any way. Okay. Specs or whatever you're saying have always traded in the futures market. Okay. And a big position in silver is, I don't even know, not a lot. Okay. On a spec level. Okay. And now they've increased margins how many times? Twice?
I think 2 times.
Okay. How many times has they increased margin on the stocks that track silver 1 to 1 or 2 to 1? Zero. Okay.
Zero.
And not only did they not do that, you could leverage your account depending on you. If you're a professional trader or someone with more money, you can leverage 7 to 1. Okay. You don't get just 2 to 1, but a regular retail gets 2 to 1. So they're levered up the wazoo. So, I mean, listen, we could go through. I'd love to know the notional trading on silver on a daily basis on the futures exchange. Do you have an idea what that is? How much
No.
silver trades notionally on a daily basis? Because what's going on in these ETFs is insane. There's an extra 12 billion of flows being added to silver on a daily basis, whether it be from, spec trading, scalping, guys wanting to be involved. And I think in these markets, it's thrown up a big red flag. Um, I'm just asking you honestly, and I don't want to spend really that much more time on silver and gold, but I'm asking you, do you think this market is retail owned in a massive way?
Um, Maybe a
Too
little bit
long,
more.
took too long, took too long. It's either a yes or a no. I
I
mean,
I just know one thing: when commodities get the commodity market can't hide a supply issue, and I don't think it has much to do with spec. I think they're part of the market now, but I don't
what's
think
the
they were.
supply issue in gold and what is gold value? Come on. I mean, I don't even know what
You're
you're
asking
saying.
philosophical. Like we talked about this yesterday, and I think what your pushback on gold is more philosophical, where you have a hard time accepting the fact that gold is actually money. You disagree with that. You don't think gold is.
100%. And I'd like people watching to write in to like give their opinion on how is it money? I mean, yes, it's money. My gold watch, which I'm not wearing, is also money. Okay. My art on my walls is also money. Okay. But it's not really money. Okay. It's money
Right.
when you decide to sell it.
Well,
You
there's
can't
different
trans.
types of
Come on,
money.
dude.
Gold
You're giving me the Bitcoin mantra 10 years ago or 8 years ago. It's going to be, dude, there was a guy in my country club who literally came up to us and said, within 3 years, and this is 5 years ago, maybe seven, okay? Within 3 years, you're not going to be using money or a credit card, okay? So I don't know how gold is money, okay? Gold has a value, but gold is not money. Gold is not money. It's just
Okay, well, that's an opinion that goes against thousands of years of history. That's an opinion that goes
what are
against
you talking
everything
about? What are you going to drive your
central
card
bank.
up to the flea market and bring a gold bar and they're going to break it off? I mean, come on, dude. We got off the gold standard 50 years ago, more. Okay.
Okay,
So
so
I'm not
why
saying
are
it
banks
doesn't have
continuing
a
to buy
Eric,
gold?
I'm not saying it doesn't have a value. Okay. I'm not saying it's not worth money. It is. Okay. It's worth what it's the same thing as a stock. Hey, is Boeing worth money? Is your Boeing stock worth money? I want to know.
Hmm.
Is your Boeing stock worth money or your Facebook stock worth money? Of course it
Well,
is. But
look
it's not a
from
utility.
a
You have to,
simplistic point of
dude, you
view.
have to cash gold in. You have to cash gold in to get money. So how can it be money? You got to cash gold in to get money. The only way you get money out of gold is if you happen to sell it. You can't use it. What are you using it for? So it isn't money. Okay.
Well, central banks aren't shoring up their currency reserves with Boeing stock.
They probably should. It's a
And
lot a lot easier. And I don't know how you think they're shoring up. Dude, why don't you tell me they're shoring it up with Bitcoin? They were sure Venezuela was shoring up all their currency with Bitcoin. I mean, come on. I don't know how that shores it up. That just means you own another asset that you're linking to your currency. So again, I don't know. I've been trading markets for over 40 years, okay? And this is the most long I've ever seen any market in, okay? More silver than gold, okay? But both markets and people. Okay, let me ask you a question. You said this before. Are commodities much more volatile than equities and certainly bonds?
yeah, when they're undergoing when you're seeing forward curves flip from contango to backwardation and then back to contango, you're going to see volatility that
No,
surpasses
but
even.
just in general, commodities move 1% to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 every day. Natural gas moves 5% a day, every day. So you have these Tom, Dick, and Harrys in a market, okay, that has blasted off to the moon. This thing has gone to the moon. Silver was never above $50. Okay. It's gone from 50 to 82, okay, in 3 weeks. Okay. I'm not saying I do think it's going to come in massively and sit for a long time with people praying to God that it comes back. That I do believe. Okay. I don't know if the ultimate price in silver is $35, $30, $40, but it's certainly not sustainable at 80 or 70. These numbers are crazy. And if you go back,
Actually, I'll push back on that because silver is one of the most inelastic commodities. So, for what it's used for industrially, there's no simple substitute.
wait, so
And
they just figured this out? Wait, they just figured this out in the
they
last
just
6 months.
yeah,
Dude,
they
where
just
was
figured
silver 6 months ago?
they just figured
Dude,
it out.
silver was under $20 last year. Under 20. What, they just figured it out that it's used for things? I mean, come on, Eric. This is
It's the physical market. Maybe a year ago that wasn't the case. Now it is the case.
okay. What about the beginning of the year? Dude, in the last 5 months, silver's gone up 100%. That's all I'm telling you. So whatever economy you're talking about and whatever, the product has gone up 100%. Okay, over 100%. That's not scaring you. That you think has to do with supply, a commodity doubling in price.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, dude. Okay,
Commodities don't double in price because uh,
you're so
retail
freaking wrong.
retail is getting
You're
into.
so wrong that it's beyond belief. Dude,
Okay.
this is so, dude, look at the volumes. How can you say that? You have volumes. Dude, we'll go for tomorrow's podcast. And then again, I want to move on. For tomorrow's podcast, I'm going to find every silver ETF and add up the notional volume that did not exist 1 year ago. 1 year ago or 2 years ago, okay, did not exist. Okay. And you're telling me that has nothing to do with it? It's in the
It
billions and billions and billions.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying is you get in when anything explodes, retail is going to be attracted to it. You think retail is driving silver prices right now?
A
I,
hundred
I can
percent.
tell,
A
okay, I can
hundred
tell you right
percent.
now. Maybe silver's dropping over the last couple of days because there's a
Dropping.
big,
The thing went up 13% in 3 days. Yeah, it came in seven. Big deal.
okay.
Still up six.
Well,
Dude,
there's a
this
big
thing is going to get
rebalance.
murdered.
There's
Murdered.
there's a big rebalance in passive commodity indices right now. Silver and gold as a percentage went up to levels where these passive indices need to lower those levels. So that usually happens the 5th to 10th business day in January, which we're in right now. So from that perspective, some of this uh, action off the high is kind of, you got to be looking for that.
Okay, dude. All right. Listen, it's a new year. It's 2026.
I mean,
I'm
is that
remaining,
retail or
I'm
is that
remaining mellow because it's actually insane to me that you don't think that retail presence is driving the market and the flows, and you don't think you didn't even answer the question whether retail is long the market. Okay, those things to me are insane. When I go to dinner, I can tell you that everyone, my mother, let me tell you, she is the greatest thing ever because she gives me clues. She's a little bit early, okay, but she gives me clues. And you know what the clues are? When I see her, and I'm going to see her for lunch today, so I'm going to wait to hear what she has to say. She'll come to me. She's like, Larry, do you think I should put silver in my, do you think I should buy silver? I'm like, Mom, what? Why? What? Oh, all my friends are in silver. All her friends are in Bitcoin, silver, gold, Nvidia. I mean, come on, Eric. You're saying retail's not involved. I got 80-year-old people that are buying silver. Okay? That is a problem. That's all I'm saying
that
to
is
you.
a problem? That I'm
Right.
not saying it's not a problem, but when did they get interested in silver? Was it when it was at 50
No.
or when it
Well,
went to 70?
probably, yeah, because it was at 50 a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
They
Okay.
got interested, I think, when it hit 70, like very recently.
Eric,
That's when
it
they
was
always get
50.
interested at
Dude, this
the.
thing was under 50 2, 3 weeks ago. This move has come in the last couple of weeks. And yes, retail is buying it at all those levels. But right now they're okay because, dude, it's like Bitcoin. They were all okay. They were, Eric, you watched the trade in Bitcoin. It went from 129, it sat at 110, and we're like, how is this thing not going down? How is this thing not going down? Everyone's long it. Then it went to 100, and it's still, come on, we were on this podcast every day for months saying this doesn't look right. Where are the stops? No one is stopping out. You know, they're down 15, 20%. No one's stopping out. And then guess what it did? In a week, it went down another 20%. Okay. And then you saw everybody getting out. Okay. Because it sat between 81,000 and 85,000 for weeks. Okay. Same thing is going to happen in this market. Okay. It's not happening now, and it's going to be harder to have happen. It's like what we said when Bitcoin, listen, when Bitcoin was 100,000, you have to admit, we knew it was dead. It was dead. We were coming on here. Anyone who watches knows I'm like, it's the weirdest thing. Where are the stops? These guys, no one's stopping out. I figured there's stops at 100,000. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Even when it went through 95, even in 90, no stops. Then all of a sudden, good night. Okay. And it went down 7,000 points on heavy volume. And I don't know where it is now. Maybe it's back to 91,000. It's no good. Okay. And the longs that are still long it are praying it's coming back. I think you're going to see the same thing in gold and silver. I'm not saying like this afternoon, but you're going to get it down. You know, gold, which is only up about 2% on the year, will go down on the year, 2 to 5%. And then people are going to be wounded. And then there's going to be a trade below 4,000. This is all what I believe. It could be all wrong, but this is what I believe. And you say 5,000 before 4,000, okay? And I just think when you're coming on here and you're not acknowledging the volumes traded in these ETFs, okay,
I am
that
acknowledging.
this is not retail public
It's not
doing
what
this.
got it to 70. Retail didn't get silver from
Whatever.
40.
Then all I asked, and I'll re-ask the question, is retail long or short? Come
Probably
on.
long.
Massive.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
That's all. Why is it so hard for you to just say, hey, you know what? Silver volume went from 20 million on the SLV ETF to 135 million in a day. It went up six-fold. And you think it's done by who? Who do you think's
Because
doing it?
by me just saying yes, and I look, yes, they're long, but it also
Oh, okay.
it also means that what you're trying to say, you're building that premise for silver going up, like retail got silver to double in price.
Wait a second.
Retail
Now you're
never thought
saying,
about
dude,
silver until
you just reversed everything. You said it's a supply issue, it's
yeah.
this, and then you just literally said that retail got it to double. You just said that. Okay.
No, they didn't get it to double. That's my point. That's
You
why
just said retail got it to double.
no, no.
Okay.
Retail
Who got it
didn't.
to double?
Point. My whole point is that retail didn't get it to double. They're
Eric,
in it now.
Eric, I love
'Cause-
you. I love you. We're moving on. Okay. It makes no sense. Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
pointing out actual facts. The average daily volume on SLV is 20 million shares a day, and we're doing 100 million a day. Okay. What does that mean? It's the most obvious thing of all time. I mean, what does it mean? It means what it means everybody who wasn't involved is now involved. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Now
what it means.
they're involved. Now nobody
But that's all
retail.
we're talking about. We're talking about now.
Mrs. Benedict talked about silver when it was at 50. When did she mention silver?
Probably at Eric, silver was 52 weeks
There you
ago.
go.
Eric, that's 2 weeks. Come on. This is
Yeah.
insanity. This conversation is insane. I'm just telling you, you're not seeing it. What does it matter? All I'm telling you is silver went from 50 3 weeks ago. If Touchdown Tommy wasn't on the phone and was in here, he could pull it up, or you could pull it up. Look at where the first close above 50 was. It was like less than a month ago. Okay. Or a
Retail
month.
can't
Okay.
backwardate a commodity. Retail
Dude,
cannot
listen,
backwardate a
they are going
commodity.
to smoke these guys. I'm just telling you
I'm
what's
sure they
okay.
will. I'm sure they're
And now
getting
you're
smoked right
telling
now.
me retail is in at 70. That's what you're telling me. That's really a bad thing if that's the case. Retail got in
Yeah,
at 70. You want to own this thing?
yeah, I know. You and I were on the phone yesterday. What was I saying I was trading last night? I'm
No
like, I'm
idea.
trying to shoot
I
this
can't
over.
remember.
Come on,
I don't
you don't
remember.
remember?
No.
Okay.
All I'm saying, and I want to move because now we're into 20 minutes on this. It's retail owned massively. Okay. More silver than gold, but both. Okay. And I'll agree with you that the prices that people have gotten long at that are late in the game are in the 60 to 70 area. Okay. So they're okay for the minute, but they may not be. But let's get
I
back.
don't think.
Let's get back
I don't need.
to the equity market. A lot to talk about. We got jobs coming up. We have the ruling. What will be interesting is when the ruling comes out. I don't know if there's a time frame on that, but there might be an interesting play because everybody's looking for this ruling, but maybe this ruling comes out after the close. Who knows?
Yeah, thinking that as well. Yeah.
So maybe a good spread would be selling Friday, buying Monday. I don't think you get hurt doing that. With options. I did a spread, and
So
I'm
how
a
would you?
little I'm
What
a
do you mean by?
little early.
Can you explain to us what you mean by selling Friday, buying Monday?
Yeah.
That's how.
So what you could do is, let's say you think the ruling is going to be negative. You go out and you sell a 68.80 put for Friday, and then buy a 68.50 put for Monday. And you could probably do that for fairly no money. Now, you can lose. It's hard to lose, but if it goes in between that, you're gonna have to take that trade off. I did that trade for today into tomorrow. I have on the 6,900 puts long for Friday, and I'm short the 69.30s. I did that for $1.80. It's trading about $3 or a little more under. That trade is not working out, but I also have on the 68 69.10, 68.80 for today and Friday. These are a little bit complex spreads, but I like them, and it really defines like what I call event risk. Like you're trading around event risk. Like to me, today should be. Again, yesterday was surprising to me, the sell off on the close, as heavy as it was. I mean, it was shocking. I don't know for all our futures traders out there. Um, the S&P had a 7,000 handle on it. I looked at it and I like blinked. I couldn't believe it. It traded up to like 7,006 on the futures, something like that. And then we got whitewashed on the close. I think maybe a little of this residual selling this morning might be off of that. And a trade that I like a little bit, and it kind of flipped yesterday, which was a little annoying, was crude oil. I still like crude here. I think crude could come out of the 50 handle. I just think everything is priced in, and you know, uh, I think it could go the other way.
It's interesting with
But
crude. Like I was. It's interesting with crude. It's an interesting trade. Technically, I think it looks good. Um, but a lot of stuff looks good technically to the long side. Doesn't mean I'm buying. But in any event, the situation in Venezuela, I think what I was reading yesterday was that there are, from all the sanctions the U.S. has on them, there's just a lot of oil in Venezuela that is just kind of sitting there in inventory, and I think the U.S. government wants to sell that into the market, and they're taking over all the sales of oil from Venezuela. But there's like some inventory that they're going to put into the market, so there's going to be that incremental supply uptick if they do that. I don't know when they're going to do that. I don't think we have details on that, but It's that would be a bearish thing unless, like you said, everything is priced in already
Well,
for
I
the
think
down.
all that's priced in, and I don't think you're going to see that for a while. And I think, listen, what do you think about this? So they swear in the vice president of Venezuela. Okay. Supposedly Trump's running the country, which is insane to think about. Okay. Um, Literally, he's running it. We don't have a troop on the ground, and we're running the country. I don't know how that is possible, but okay. All right. So let's get past that. In the front row of the swearing in ceremony is the Chinese delegation and the Russian delegation, not our delegation. Those guys have so much more roots on the ground to that oil that there is no way this is going to be a simplistic thing that you think we're going to start like Exxon's going to roll in and start. I think Chevron's there already, but they're going to start drilling wells. I just don't see any of that happening, which makes crude even more valuable. And, listen, you look at, you know, I'm not going to bring it up again, gold, but you look at gold and then you look at oil. I mean, oil has got to be the cheapest commodity in the history of the world. Like it's where it was 50 years ago. And I mean, and it's actually, you want to talk about something you need and something you can, that you use, it's oil, and it's oil products. But again, it's trading, so you got to respect it and just go with it. But, what's happened in the US stock market is, the advent of retail creating, what do they call it? Memes. Everything's a meme. They call gold a meme. Gold's a meme now. It's a meme. I mean, what is this? I mean, literally, maybe this is the year 2026 that they shut this down, where they literally stuff these guys, and, the guys buying Palantir at 180 up from a dollar or two, you know, and it goes back to 100, feel the wrath. And listen, no one can see this right now happening, Eric. No one. There's no one out there. But in
You
20,
mentioned China was in that front row on the swearing in. Do you think China's going to have a any kind of reaction to what Trump just did?
yeah, they have a reaction. They're just not like us. They just don't talk about it. They're they're very, very stone faced. They're not gonna, dude, listen, one of the greatest things, and we talk about on the podcast, but no one talks about, is that meeting between Xi and Trump, how cringeworthy that was when Trump's like, "Yo, buddy, what's up?" And the guy's like, "No way, man. We hate you." I mean, it was like, it was so, you don't think that was so awesome?
I think it was, yeah. I think it was cringeworthy. You had Trumpy Bear and Winnie the Pooh trying to shake hands, and it didn't look good. So
And yeah, well, it didn't look good. And these guys are tired, man. Like Trump doesn't get tired. He wants to fight every day. He's tweeting or
he's like you.
what? I'm
He's like you.
tired, man. I'm
But
tired.
you like to fight
Dude, it
every
takes me
day.
a lot of effort to get your opinion out, dude. I'm just trying to, I still don't know what your opinion was, whether
I think
retail's in silver or not. I mean, you don't even have to
retail
answer.
backwardate a commodity. That is my opinion.
Okay, whatever that means. I know it's backwardated to go up 100% in 3 months. You're right. Okay, whatever.
But there were other headlines
Wait a
yesterday.
second. There's no silver. Silver has been a hunk of junk for 50 years, and now in 4 months there's no silver. Okay,
There's no
whatever.
silver.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
You
taken.
know what you
Yeah,
should do? There's silver in old nickels. You should get your nickels and melt them down. You,
I've
you
been
could
looking
do
for
all
them.
right.
They're
Yeah,
hard to find.
I mean,
I looked into it.
well, the best is, if you really think about it, the best is gold. Like, what is the utility for gold? Honestly, you can tell me, silver's in data, they made up, it's in data centers, it's in this, it's in that. What
Well,
is the
you
utility for
you're
gold?
saying this from the very comfortable perspective of a U.S. citizen that has enjoyed stability in this economy for decades. You ask somebody from the Soviet Union or Venezuela or any other kind of country where currency
Eric,
has
wait a
support
second.
from
So
the
wait a second.
euro, if
Eric,
gold is
gold,
money.
you told me gold has been around since the cart and the horse, okay? But in the last 2 years, they've realized gold had a utility. But in 1990, 2000, 2010, 2020, they had no utility. They didn't want it. It didn't have anything to do with anything. But right now, they need it. Come on, this whole move has happened in gold in the last 2 years and in silver in the last
A long
6 months.
time, right? 2 years is a long time.
I
That should
know,
maybe
since
think
the cart and the
about
horse and the pharaohs in Egypt. You're right. 2 years is a long time. Dude, come on. This is all speculation. Dude, if I want to buy gold right now, you see this in my hand? I can buy or sell as much gold as I want by clicking a button on my phone. Okay, come on. Talk about the cart and the horse. Think about where the markets have gone and listen, I was talking on a podcast, a big podcast, okay? And I was equating the market now to the bubble of the dot com, okay? Not the financial crisis, okay? You want to know the difference? The dot com bubble crushed people, but people I would say there's 80% more people trading in this market today than there was in the dot com. The dot com bubble, you had to be a bit of a professional trader, okay, to get access to the markets. Okay. People weren't like, you couldn't buy on your phone. You had to call your stockbroker, okay, which now is an RIA or, an investment manager. I think if we have the type of correction that I believe we're going to have, it's going to cause a very big calamity. I think everybody is living on the market, living on returns, you know, with inflation and the cost of everything. Um, you know, it's very tough. Listen, one of my sons is a corporate attorney. Okay. He does mergers and acquisitions, whatever. He's doing well, but his lifestyle with one kid, he has to do really well. He has to do unbelievably well to get by. But you know what? It's been okay because he has money in the stock market. And last year, his portfolio was up 20%. So guess what he does? He basically takes out money, the extra money, and he's able to finance a little bit better of a lifestyle. What's going to happen when that portfolio is negative? What is going to happen? That's the thing. And you don't only have the younger class of people doing that, you have the older class of people doing that. Okay. I'm calling us, I mean, you're a tweener. I'm an older guy. So I'm on the upper end of that. I'm not in I am a grandpa, but I'm not like feeling like I'm in the grandpa class. Okay. But you have that lower class looking to live off returns. Okay. And if you don't listen, I'm not even going to throw it to you because I see it firsthand, okay, from my kids and my friends' kids, okay, how they are in the market and they're living on returns, okay. And then you have the older class, people my parents' age, that are invested in the stock market where 15, 20 years ago, if you had a money manager or a stockbroker, they would just buy you bonds. If you're 75 years old or plus, you're not looking to risk your capital anymore. You need to live out the string on bonds, right?
That's
So
right.
so what do you see? I mean, don't you find this to be a little bit speculative that an 80-year-old is buying, you know, silver? They're not buying the actual commodity, they're just buying an ETF, but they're buying silver, they don't realize it, or they're buying Bitcoin and they're sitting in it, you know. And listen, there's other things, Eric. So there are ETFs all over the place that give dividends or return of capital. They fooled the public into thinking they're getting a 35% dividend on the year, which no one should ever think they're getting. And then all they do is return their own capital and lose more money. So the people are living on that income. They call it income. And then the NAV destruction is destroying them. Okay. When they look at how much money they have, their $1 million is now only worth a half a million. They got 300 in returns, but they lived on it. I think the biggest problem moving forward is that people have lived on the return of the market for a bunch of years now, 3 years, and it's almost insatiable. So that's what I see, and that's, I think, the risk to the market going forward.
Dalio said something similar in terms of, when does the bubble pop? It's when they need to sell some of their wealth for the need for cash, and I think that's similar to what you're saying. We had like really important headlines yesterday. I think you had a really good take on it. I wanted you to share it with everyone. Trump went after the first. He went after um, institutional investors buying single family homes. Okay, that got Blackstone down 10%. All of my home builder stocks down on that news. And then a few hours later, he's like he went after the defense industry. He doesn't want them issuing dividends. He doesn't want any more share buybacks. What's your take on that? And is that something you're
I
looking at?
I you know I like the move. I think it's a great move. I think what's happened in the world just in general, and this is part a little bit tied into what I'm saying now from what I said before, how people don't realize how bad it actually is going to be for them moving forward if they don't get a return. And the reason why housing prices have been so high and going higher is guys like Grant Cardone, okay, who I don't know if you know, he's like an infomercial guy that buys like commercial properties, okay. He gets a consortium of cash and he buys whatever. And he's hoping that someone comes along and pays more. So, that's what's going on here. And I think it's important for us to potentially, stop that from happening. You know, and we'll I think, listen, I don't think he can get anything done on this. And then the second one was I guess the defense industry. He's going after the defense industry for giving dividends and buying back their own stock. He'd rather have them spend that on building more missiles and fighter jets or whatever, which I don't think is a bad idea either. But I think all of this stuff sort of has to operate independently. And we'll
Well, those two headlines was knocked the market off the high yesterday. So for today, how do you see that playing? I mean, I'm definitely watching home builders very closely today, defense stocks very closely. They got hit pretty good. Like Lockheed Martin got hit. As soon as I saw the news, I actually thought, okay, I'm going to try to put on a call spread. I couldn't put anything on the bid ask on the options was like $15 wide for a month out. It got really crazy.
yeah.
Um, do you think that plays into today at all? Do you think the market just shrugs it off? What levels are you looking at on S&P?
Uh, you know what? I think today is going to be. I mean, they're trying once again to buy it.
Iron condor kind of day? Is that what you think?
No, I never think that anymore. If you did one yesterday, you were wrecked. Okay, I mean, you thought you were good, and then you were bad, and then you were good, and then you were bad. It's interesting though. Like, I know I've been harping this whole podcast on, silver because I'm telling you, I think you're gonna wake up and it's gonna be, it may have a five in front of it very quickly. It's
Let's
down
start
another
with,
it's down
you
another
know, what
5% today. Dude, the thing went up 13% in 3 days and it's down 9% in 2 days, or 8.5%. I mean, uh, people are going to get killed here.
yeah,
No,
but
they're not
nat
going to
gas,
get killed.
you said it before, nat gas could do that. But let's get to the levels. Everybody wants to know what you
Oh,
think
I don't
about
know
them.
the levels. I mean, I think that they're going to try to buy out of the gate, and it may go down a little and then up. We may go up on the day. I think it's kind of like you said. I mean, I don't feel like I don't think you can do an iron condor. I think you have to pick a side. Like yesterday, we sold the call spread when the market was up a little. Today, if we go down a little more, maybe we sell an out of the money put spread. But the prices we're getting for the day are too cheap for the actual movement that's going on in the market. So
I
that's
agree.
what. So so I want to just be careful. We're
You
out of the
know,
gate, new
right.
year.
You know what was weird last night? I actually saw um, at the low of the market, at the low of the futures session last night, calls 30 points out, a 10-point call spread 30 points out was you can get more premium than a 10-point put spread 30 points out. So it was like, it was not, it was like, huh? The calls are, you can get more premium selling the call spreads than you can the put spreads. So that was a little bit interesting. And then this morning you come in, the futures have ticked up off the low. So I don't know, maybe the market is kind of taking in stride. Maybe it'll be more, kind of in a range. I'm thinking maybe like 68, 80, 69, 45, 69, 55, something like that.
That's a pretty big range for today. I mean, I don't see that as I don't see a
We,
50 handle move in SPOO today waiting on tomorrow. But what I will say is that options, because volatility is too low. So the zero DTE trading is more dangerous because the pure moves don't don't have to be that big with this low volatility. But I want to leave with this, and this is where we're gonna wrap it up. Okay. I know we were a little bit tangent. I want to let people know, you know, my strong opinion on this. We are going to add to gold on the short side in another 20 points. We're going to add to our short position. Um, and we are short silver, and we're going to add to that as well. I think the crazy thing is silver was up 13% for the year. It's up like 5 or 4. I mean, silver could be down 10% for the year in 3 days, and it could be at 60.
yeah.
I
What
mean,
level are you? What level are you looking at to get at? Let's say your short is going to work.
I don't know. I am
Or
not getting out right now. I mean, I'm going to make sure when I add that I change up my stops and get a little tighter. Um, but those are the positions that I kind of like here. And it's interesting. Silver is now back to 73. It traded 81 or 82. It's went down $10. What's like? I'm just worried one day, and it's not today, that you walk in and it's limit down. I don't even know what limit is, but
I don't think there's a limit down on the futures. So.
are you sure? Hold on, we're gonna check it out. I'm surprised that usually all commodities have limits, but we'll check. Touchdown T. Go to ChatGPT or Google. Oh, also Google is more valuable than Apple right now. I kind of like that
Why?
spread the other way for a trade.
I know. I agree with that.
I
Actually,
like that spread for a trade, but it's not working
what
right
to go
now.
long Apple short Google?
Yeah, for a trade. Anyway, this is what I want to leave people with, and we're 5 minutes from the opening, so I want to wrap. And touchdown Tommy's going to maybe find it in the next minute, but we'll see. I would say with what's happening here is people are not realizing you're trading a $7,000 product, guys. Just remember that. A 1% move is 70 handles. We're going to have a day where the market's going to move 2 or 3%. You're going to talk about 250 S&P points. That's pretty big, right?
Nice move to catch.
Yeah. And silver looked like it bottomed here for the moment. What?
It's 7 to 13%.
Percent?
Yeah.
Okay, so the limits in silver, which I'm betting money that we get a limit down day. Limit in silver is only 7%. That's it. 7%. It's down 5.
Then there's one at 13.
What?
Then there's a second one.
And then there's another one down 13. So, dude, if we went down another 3% today or 2%, is that just for the opening or for the full day?
I believe it's the full day. Price limit max range permitted.
7% is limit down. Dude, this thing is down. How much is it down? 5%? I mean,
7%. I don't. On the Bloomberg, that says daily price limits down limit 0.
I don't know. Where are you finding it?
CME.
We're on the CME website, dog.
This is for ag, crypto, energy, and metals.
7%. Dude, we can go limit down today.
That's 7% is not enough. It should be much higher. I don't know. Okay.
I don't know. That's what Tommy's. Dude, is it segregated out for silver or you're just using a generic?
No, they have the reference pricing and the dynamic circuit breaker variant as well.
Yeah, 7%, dog. We're going limit today, maybe. And then you know what's crazy? This is what I told people the other day on the podcast. If we get close to limit down in silver, you want to sell it because it stops trading and then it could reopen at the next limit. That was what we used to do in S&Ps when S&P went limit down all the time. Limit down, S&P. Every day, I swear to God that every day I came to work in the 90s and even the 2000s, I would say to the broker who was doing my business, what's limit down today? What's limit down? Every day we knew limit down. Nobody and their mother knows limit down about any market. They're just going to be shocked and surprised today.
I gotta make sure that it's how could it be?
And then the best part about it, this is why the exchanges have an issue. And we're 2 minutes for the opening and I want to go. Okay? You listening?
Yep.
The ETFs are still going to trade. They're not stopping. Dude, this is the Wild West, bro. I'm just telling you, the Wild West. These two exchanges, one's raising margin requirements and the other's giving more leverage.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time accepting that it's only 7%. Are we going to trade live on air?
No, we're getting off. Anyone, listen, we're way too late today. Everyone have a great day. Tomorrow's the big day. I will be back tomorrow with my Ask Me Anything show, and we'll be back Monday. Peace. Everyone enjoy.